Hello, good morning, wonderful citizens of Nigeria. Welcome to the Sunday show on AIT, reaching you from the corporate headquarters of DAC Communications PLC in Abuja. We are glad to have you join us again. Tax reforms dominated discussion in the week, with the lawmaking process seemingly losing the criticisms it was leading with at the initial stage of its introduction by the presidency. While the deliberation on the bills was on, drama ensued over seat reallocation at the Senate. The major actors were the senator representing Kogi Central, Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, and the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio. Well, we mentioned some time ago on this show, it is natural for people to disagree due to individual differences, but what is most important is to manage and find balance when such situations arise. That said, let's now face the business of today. Today's show will seek to assess the state of Nigeria's sports development with the aim of repositioning the sector for greater achievements. I'm not alone on this show today. My associate anchor, Makwin Joseph, good morning.
Good morning.
Your week was beautiful, I know.
You can say that again.
It is show for your face.
Well, we appreciate God for everything.
Thank you and welcome.
All right, good morning and thanks for joining us. We appreciate your engagement with the show and urge you to keep them coming. The story of Nigeria's sports development dates back to the pre-colonial era. Nigeria has had its ups and downs in the course of competing in various activities with other countries of the world. It has also been a bumpy ride in terms of management of various sports activities within the country. Unfortunately, Nigeria's sports development has had its own fair share of the deadly claws of corruption. But should the challenges continue to have their way, where there are possible solutions and the willingness to make the difference? We shall seek to address some of these issues with a seasoned administrator being our guest on today's show.
That's right. Nigerians have been privileged to experience glorious moments in sports, even though many believe, and rightly so, that the nation would have achieved much more with the enormous potentials it is blessed with. Have you ever considered the number of Nigerians who have represented other countries at global competitions and won laurels for themselves and their host countries? The numbers are mind-boggling, to say the least.
Exactly. Well, as vital as sports is, especially in the aspect of national cohesion, inadequate equipment and facilities have been massive setbacks. Though we encourage or acknowledge the government's efforts through establishment of the Grassroots Sports Development Department in the National Sports Commission, a lot still is yet to be achieved. We shall be engaging our guest any moment from now, talking about a seasoned sports administrator. But first, let's refresh our minds on the issues that made the news during the week and hear what the people on the streets are saying in respect of sports development in Nigeria. Please don't go away.
There's no any sport development in Nigeria as we stand, as we speak now. Because what we discover is that we see sometimes they do give them money to do something, but at the end of the day, you see them doing nothing. So I just feel there's no any development in sports in Nigeria. That's all I can say for now.
Okay.
Because just look at me now, as a sportsman, look at me today. They have killed my career by taking sport. And I'm chasing another dream because there's no any development partaking sport in Nigeria. Put more effort in it to create more academics, I think that should be better.
When we talk about sports, sport actually is a very great thing which encourages the youth to unite together. But what I think about sport is that in Nigeria, it's not really developed. They just focus on football, which is not encouraging, and which they're supposed to encourage the youth. But there are many sports, but the Nigeria focus on football, which is not good. But the thing is that even though the football they focus on, they are not empowering the youth. Which the youth will be in school, they will forget their academic lectures, forget everything, focus on football. At the end, their career will just die because they are not empowering the youth in the ball. Except you know someone before he can go more further in the football. Especially in Nigeria. Nigeria is full of corruption. So the government need Nigeria. Somebody don't have adequate skills of managing such academy. They will bring him because he's my brother, because he's my niece. So I'll bring him to the field to control, which you don't have adequate information of such academy. So we need somebody that have adequate knowledge.
Sport has generally really bring about the sense of unity among the youth especially. So if the presidency, for example, will pay more attention on sport generally, like football, for example, it gives them opportunity of uniting. Now, like sport, for example, for me, the reason why I see that youth go into sports is it gives them that sense of belonging. It is somehow boring when you sit with your peers and they're talking about sport and you're not putting maths. It looks boring. You look like you are the wrong person in the midst of them. But when you keep talking about sports with them, you see, it even gives you this, you escape yourself from the struggles of life, It makes you draw your attention to live in the moment. You'll be happy in the moment, Okay, now, talking about whether the national executive of sports are really helping. You see, let me relate this to politics generally. Leaders have a slave mentality that says that I don't have this before. Now I have opportunity to get it, I will get it all. That's what is killing us. These leaders have opportunity to handle huge amount of money based on from sport. Now they want to siphon this money to themselves alone. That is why you see I know of so many young players in this village, this Paduma, but there is no sponsor. Even when they are talented, even when the money is there, these leaders will not even support them. Even when the government is even releasing the fund, they want to take this fund to themselves.
Nigeria governments, let me say government, because they are involved. People that are there are still the government official people. They are not running the way they're supposed to do it. If you go to Europe, people that are running the football, they have the knowledge of the game. Not in the Nigeria that from the president to down, or the administrator of the Nigeria NFL. None of them know how they spend on the football. We need to bring some people that already know they have the knowledge of the game into it before the thing can be all right. The youth that are trying, what do you want to support them? Anyone that you see that are playing in Europe today, they struggle by themselves to go there. Nobody support them. That's why sometimes you see Nigerian player play for that country. But because if they play for Nigeria, they know how it is in Nigeria. They rather play for that country than to come and represent Nigeria. Because if they have injury now, not concern Nigeria, it's the same they are club that be treating them.
All right, it's still the Sunday show on Africa Independent Television, AIT. You already know my name, yes. And today we are discussing sports development. A lot has happened. And this morning, I am just going to mention his name and he will tell us who he is. all the formers, this former that, he is a sports administrator. So this morning, I have the opportunity to welcome Shuaibu Ahmed Garagumbe. Good morning.
It's my pleasure.
You're welcome. So tell us.
Thank you for having me once again in AIT. Well, I am Ahmed Shuaibu Garagumbe, as been introduced. I happen to be former chairman of Gombe State Football Association and also the former chairman of Gombe United Football Club, former advisor on sports to the executive governor of Kano State, Rabiu Musa Konkoso. And also I happen to be the chairman of Gombe State Athletics Association currently, and also the proprietor of Gombe Athletics Academy, and also the CEO of Green White Green Sports Center Limited. I will leave it at that.
He eats sports. He sleeps sports. Everything sports. That is Ahmed for you. So welcome.
Thank you.
Today we are discussing sports development. Some few years back, Nigeria has been known as a major powerhouse in sports. What can you say about the current state of Nigeria's sports development?
Thank you so much for this.
Because today we are catching them young.
Yes. Thank you so much for this question. It's really a question that carries a lot of pregnancy. But I will try to deliver from my own perspective and from what I know. Post-independence, Nigeria to now, we have had more than 42 ministers of sports. Different ones coming with under different ideas, different platforms, and different nomenclature. And if you check during the military administrations, that was where Nigeria were doing very well actually in sports. Most of the major achievements we have achieved in sports were during the military regimes. However, the platforms with which these ministers, I said, operated were different due to policy somersaults, change in names, and the rest of it. And if you look at from independence to now 50-something years, we are still changing name. So we are so inconsistent to even know which platform, which direction do we want to play sports in our national life. Those days you would hear Ministry of Education, Sports, Youth and Culture. You hear Ministry of Information and Sports. You hear Ministry of Social Development, Youth, Women, Culture, Sports. You hear Ministry of Sports and Youth. You hear National Sports Commission. After we scrap it, we now come back to Ministry of this, this, and that. So much inconsistency.
Is that not the reason why we are where we are?
It's one of the reasons, because once you are not consistent in terms of the platform to even operate, you cannot have a policy. And because the platform itself is not stable, it's not like this table now. If this table is not stable, you cannot share cups of tea on it.
Exactly.
So we don't have a platform that is so consistent, that runs consistently, uninterrupted for 10 good years to run sports in Nigeria.
Why that?
Good. Now, it is because we do not have a policy. Till today, we do not have a policy to run sports in Nigeria. And we have not asked ourselves, what do we want to do with sports? Up to now, Nigeria does not understand as a country, what do we want to use sports to achieve? Because most developed societies, or most societies that are serious about sports, they will tell you they want to use sports for international politics. They want to use sports for international trade, commerce, and economy. They want to use sports for so many different reasons.
And it can also be a foreign exchange earner.
Exactly. No, it is really a major foreign exchange earner.
Okay.
Now, the transition of various countries from using sports as a recreation to a source of national income had fetched them a lot of stability, even in economy, and also brought a lot of input into their economy, but not us. Us is more or less like a cause.
Whose responsibility it is?
Now, the responsibility, all of us, including me and you,
Okay.
the media, the administrators, the politicians, and the government. You will hear so many policy directions being canvassed for. Nobody will mention sports. It has always been placed at the background. And I said, look, for us, when recently they changed it to National Sports Commission from the Ministry of Sports, I said, if we like, let us change the name 100 times. In as much as we don't do the right thing, it's not done. We'll go back to where we are. And I will tell you those right things at the course of this, during the course of this program.
Fantastic.
Now, but before then also, let me also mention this. Why is it difficult to have a policy? But then, I would like to say that we don't have to single out sports as part of the rot of the institutional rot in the system.
Okay.
Sports is also a fraction of the whole. It's a fraction of Nigeria. The same problems you have in many other of our sectors due to inconsistency, policy somersaults, and so many other things also affects sports. But in sports, there are certain peculiarities, which when time permits, I'm going to expatiate with these peculiarities, which will make it different from the other sectors of our national life.
Okay, so let's now go furthermore, because today when you talk about sports in Nigeria, people always think it is about football. Are there any other sports that Nigeria can actually thrive in?
Yes, that is what I said earlier. We do not know what we do want to do with sports. And if we know what to do with sport, we are supposed to pick at least a national sport. What are we known for?
Big question.
What are we known for? Are we known for cricket? Indians are known for cricket. There are South Africans are known for rugby.
We are known for football, but
we are known for, that's what I said, we are known for football by default. Yes, by default. Imagine.
In those days.
In those days. Let me just give you an example very close. In 1985, FIFA introduced a developmental championship, which is a under-17 Kodak under-17 World Cup. Nigeria participated. We won the maiden edition. Maiden edition, under 17.
Wow.
And we came back to Nigeria, under 17. Now, we are talking about more than 30 years after winning the maiden edition of under 17 competition.
And we never went back there again.
And now, no, we have won other editions. What I'm trying to say is that we are now 30 years after always struggle to qualify for World Cup. So that means there is a problem somewhere which we need to discuss. There's a problem somewhere. That means there was no proper transition. If we take football as our national sport and focus on it, then Nigeria is known for football. Up to now, but let me tell you, smaller countries now are taking over from us. We are struggling to beat them, to beat them. Countries where when we are playing football, that time, I do not think the entire country will do sense of respect to them. I do not think they have up to 5 or 10 football pitches in the entire country. But today, they are the ones that will come to Uyo here or come to Abuja here and hold us draw or even deal with us when we meet them in a neutral stage. So we have joked with that. If we say it is chess that we want to take as our national sport, let's have a program in chess and to make sure. It is football. Out of every 10 Nigerians, 3 must have kicked football one way or the other during the course of their lives, especially the boys or the men, if you can say, or the male gender. You find 3 must have kicked football somewhere, either on the street, in the neighborhood, in school, as children, or somewhere. Whether it's not football, they must have kicked an object in terms of football. So we ignore that to take it. If you take that, now we have about 38 to 40 Olympic and non-Olympic sports in Nigeria today. But we give priority to football because we assume it's our national sport, but we don't even manage it. I remember also, football is the only sport in Nigeria that is established by law.
Like, seriously?
There is an NFA Act, which was formed by the National Assembly. But even that one, it has a lacuna because the laws governing it were originated from FIFA. And we imported the laws to adopt here. But the Constitution of Nigeria clearly said that any law or convention that you are importing into Nigeria must be domesticated by the National Assembly before it becomes effective. The laws now, FIFA laws were operating in Nigeria, till today there is no evidence that it has been domesticated. The only time we attempt to domesticate it was when FIFA threatened to ban us because of some litigations some years back. Then I think late Bala Kawaji, for Minister for Sports, was the person who went to the Federal Executive Council and extracted a commitment from the Nigerian government to FIFA that we are going to domesticate FIFA laws in Nigeria. Till today, we have not done that. So even the act, the football laws we are operating in Nigeria till today are illegal. It's not known to law. No. I'm waiting for somebody to come and give me a contrary opinion or to challenge my thoughts that the FIFA rules we are using, football we are using in Nigeria were domesticated by National Assembly. There is no evidence. And that is why there's always confusion. So those running our football, whenever there's a problem, they run to FIFA.
Yeah, I wanted to ask that question. So what is the sports management body doing about all of this? Because you did mention that there is no policy or policy somersault as one of the reasons why it seems sports does not have a proper headway in the country. Those who are appointed to such positions, what are supposed to be their responsibility? If the government is making any mistake anywhere, somehow, are they not supposed to call the government to order, to bring it to their attention?
Yes, because their interest is not about development.
So why are they there?
Good question. Because some people sponsor them to be there.
Oh, okay.
Some people sponsor them to be there. They are acting proxies to some certain powers that be. If you check all those who are managing our sports today, how did they get there? I can tell you 80% of the competent people to manage sports in Nigeria are outside the sports cycle today. We are only appointing people with questionable characters to run sports, and that is what it is. Questionable background established by law, everybody knows it. Simply because somebody powerful out there wants them to be there, so they now go there to manage. We are not ready for sports development in this country. We are not ready. Someone collected $1 million to renovate National Stadium here in Abuja. Are you with me? $1 million. Spent that money, wasted that money. Now he has taken shelter somewhere inside the villa. And today, the same National Stadium in Abuja is not qualified to hold any international match. In fact, it was downgraded to level 1.
Has anybody bothered to ask whom he is? And
all
why?
the stakeholders, everybody knows who this person is, what really happened. Nobody wants to ask questions. That is number one. Another thing, someone collected almost 22 billion within the space of 2 years, went to Olympics without even a spoon to come back with. And also for the Nations Cup in Ivory Coast, the only thing you do to that person is take him to another ministry. And this is just of recent happenings. I am not talking about the happenings in so many years, which when I start to reveal or to talk.
This is already very loud.
Yes.
What you have revealed so far is already loud.
So those people are there. They are watching me. They are watching you. They are listening. And consistently, I have been saying this. And today, if we want to be serious to fix sports in Nigeria, you are saying, what is then the problem?
Yes, I asked.
Sports is the only sector that I have never seen, heard, or read that one person in sports is sent to Kuje prison. One person. Can we use somebody as a scapegoat? And there are hundreds of cases in sport that we can take somebody. We can reopen all those files. In the last 20 years, if I give you an example, there is no tenure of any minister or Olympic committee or sports federations that I cannot give you 1 or 2, 3 cases that can send some people to jail. That could have solved our problem. But it's an industry where people come and take money they don't account for.
Unfortunately.
And they get away with it.
And there was a time we had Nuga games and all the university games. So what really happened? Everything just disappeared into the thin air?
Yes, Nuga itself, they have its own politics. Nuga itself, it has its own politics.
Oh, my God.
It has its own politics. I can give you an example. I happen to be one of those who promoted the establishment of Higher Institution Football League. Higher Institution Football League. We had a president of Nuga that time. We had a treasurer. The company that is managing that competition, who were collecting money from sponsors, the money they have been paying to Nuga was going to private pockets. Nuga doesn't have a bank account. Even if they have the bank account...
Hey, you see me, I'm sweating.
Yes, get a handkerchief.
I'm sweating.
Get a handkerchief or let them increase the air condition.
Because what
dry,
you are,
yes.
the exposés are making me sweat.
They don't have an account. And the treasurer who was collecting the money, putting in the private pocket, his tenure even expired 2 years before that competition started. And he remains there. The president, when asked which account do we pay, he will say, pay to my treasurer. The treasurer that was even there illegally. And Nuga is not supposed to be independent as it is. No. It's supposed to be under the office of Committee of Vice Chancellors.
Okay.
Who has a director, the Committee of Vice Chancellors, who has a Director General. And Nuga has a Nuga Council, which the executive report to, and then report to Committee of Vice Chancellors. Then Committee of Vice Chancellors report to NUC. That is how they operate. But it's not there. Was a time most of the athletes we discovered to represent us in football, to represent us in the Olympics and major continental and intercontinental championship were discovered from Nuga competitions.
Exactly.
But it's not no longer, that's no longer there. Because the entire administration, platform and management of Nuga itself as a body has completely been destroyed and decimated.
We watch Nigerians, other Nigerians who participate in different sports for representing other countries, and they are Nigerians. What are the sports management body doing? What are we not doing right to allow these citizens go to represent other countries, like football?
Madam, it is still
like football.
It still comes to what I am saying. It still comes to what I am saying. We do not have a policy, and we do not know what to do with football. What is our national sport? Most of these children of diaspora that you see, they are all over. In fact, I can tell you, there's virtually no successful country in football today in the world that you will not have a Nigerian playing in that league who is from diaspora. Some of them live. There was one of these guys, I forgot his name. His parents were said to be killed in the Kaduna riot some time back.
Oh, wow.
His uncle took him at 9 years old to London, put him in an academy, raised him up. He became a star. He came back now to play for Nigeria.
He loved the country.
And if you see the way he was even treated. And again, some of these stars, especially those in athletics, you see them running for universities in America.
Yes.
One of them.
So many of them.
One of them recently, she has an accident, I think somewhere in the US. And I was on a television program somewhere with somebody representing the National Sports Commission. And he said one of the achievements of his boss, the new leadership of National Sports Commission, he said that his boss just ordered the training grant for that athlete who is in diaspora that had an accident, $5,000 should be paid to her. I then asked him on the set that, are you calling this as an achievement? Do you have to wait for her to get an accident before you pay her? That training grant, is it a right or is it a privilege?
It's a right.
So you can imagine if it's a country that has a policy and has a standard in managing citizens who are involved in sports in diaspora, we will not get to that.
Sure.
We treat them as if they are nobody. And we only treat them when we need them. You understand? So, and again, parents who invest in their children in diaspora, raise them, put them in sports and everything, spend money. We don't recognize them. Never a time do we call them. Some I say, can't you for once look for anywhere in Europe or in America that is convenient? We can afford to buy ticket. Gather all this diaspora family of sports and host them to a simple dinner. They will appreciate it. They didn't say give them money. To appreciate their contribution to developing Nigerian sports. Super Eagles today of Nigeria, count from the goalkeeper to the last man.
They are all diaspora.
90% diaspora.
Diaspora. And you just
now, I give
newly
you another
appointed
example.
a coach.
When I was advisor to the Kano State governor in sports, one woman came to my office. A woman, I don't know her, somebody brought her to me. She was giving me a story. Her son wanted to participate in a competition in Kaduna. She went to the sports council to get him spikes, boots to run, running shoes. They say they don't have. And nobody can bring out money. As at that time, the cost of the spikes was just 18,000. Nobody has 18,000 naira to give her to go and buy the boots. She now has to go to his uncle and borrowed the money to pay for to buy him the spikes. He went to Kaduna, he ran. That guy, at that time, was just 18 years old. And he has a good time between the region of 9 to 10.2 or something like that. At 18, he's running 10 point. What was the goal average of world timing of Usain Bolt that time? So at 18, that means by the time he's 19 or 20, he's going to do better. Now, when he was playing, when he ran in Kaduna,
better training.
Yes, somebody spotted him and said he wants to take him out.
Wow.
He took him to Bahrain.
Wow.
He went to Bahrain, joined a club, nationalized, ran for Bahrain. In the Asian Games, he got gold in 800 meters.
Wow.
He was part of the relay team that won silver. He also got gold in 200 meters. The boy is from Kano. So there are so many examples like that. So to tell you the fact
and
that
today he's there in Bahrain.
So there are so many of them like that. There are so many of them who are even retired. They are coaching in so many institutions and universities across the America and Europe and Asia and even the Middle East. And we're just here. The only thing we know, sports is a private sector-led industry. The funding for sports comes from private sector, not from anybody. Government only provide enabling environment and infrastructural support. That is how it is. But in Nigeria, everything comes from government. And I just heard that the federal government appropriated 73 billion for sports economy. Which sports economy? And who are those people to manage that 73 billion? Who are they? What are they?
Recently?
Yes. What is there in the parallel budget? When the president presented the budget to National Assembly, that was what was allocated to sports. They were celebrating all over. 73 billion. For what? Why putting 73 billion in sports? These same people who were going to the president telling him about sports economy, let them raise it. If they have the credibility, let them go to private sector and raise it. Most of the private sector, I said no serious private sector person would put money in Nigerian sports because of what? Corruption. And I'm going to address that now to you. Most of the major brands who have come into Nigerian sport, they left. And the same characters who mismanage, chase these people away, you are now bringing them to manage our sports. It's not going to work. Chief Mike Adenuga, may God bless him. This is somebody whom I know loved Nigeria so much and loved sports.
He was
Came
really,
into our football and he left.
They were really investing
and he left.
Sports.
Mobile, Coca-Cola. Permit me, I'm mentioning them here.
You
I have
will,
to
you will
mention
go and
because
bring
we
them
have
to
do
go
that.
and bring money.
And also Super Sports came from South Africa and put money into our sports. They have to leave because all these companies are international brands. They believe in three things: transparency, accountability, good governance.
Fairness.
Good governance. These three things are completely missing in our sports, and these people are preaching sports economy.
So what is the way forward?
Good.
Because you just have a new coach. I'm not trying to spoil your money. I'm not trying to spoil your money.
We need another program.
Okay.
You don't want me to ask for handkerchief from you too. Let us not talk about Chile and his gang. And his gang. No problem. That is one of the greatest insults to Nigeria.
Oh, well.
But that is
Nigerians spoke out. They cried out, but nobody.
The man is confused now. He's confused. Now we're having a match we're having a World Cup qualifier starting in March. He doesn't even know who to use, who not to use. They're still taking him around. Let him take him around. And he's bringing his assistants from outside. So the whole of Nigeria, we don't have anybody to use as his assistant, including goalkeeper trainer. Haba.
Let's go back to where we were before.
Now, I want to tell you, corruption
is actually everywhere.
Is the number one enemy of Nigerian
It's everywhere,
sports.
even from our various bedrooms. Corruption is everywhere.
Yes. But this one, let everybody withdraw his own fraction of the contribution to the road. Like I'm talking now, let everybody talk. Let everybody act. You in the media, you act. Most of
like
the media,
what exactly what we're doing.
Most of the media, maybe you're just part of the few. Most of the media, they have compromised. They know these people. The same way they run other institutions under the sports industry that were given opportunity in the past is just the same thing they are doing now. Look at the National Sports Commission that we just established. They are still receiving visitors. They are running sports in the media instead of them to get to work. They are still receiving visitors. And that's what the president saw. And he was saying, yes, you earn it. You deserve it. Because that is how they do. They mislead you, giving you all sort of small screen. All these are gimmicks. They will come to pass. And you will see.
Ahmed, we are definitely going to have a part two of this interview.
This corruption that I'm talking about has eaten deeply. People under investigations. People that were investigated, their property seized. These are the ones that we are bringing now to come and manage sports. I'm not looking for a job or anybody to patronize me. I say it the way it is. And I'm glad you should know, you know me very well. In the last 20 years, I've been saying it. If we can fix corruption, because there is free money. Okay, take the Nigeria Olympic Committee. This is the umbrella platform. Engineer Habu Gumel is there. What is he doing there? At 70-something years old. Yes, at 70, you can perform in public office. But if you are not performing, what are you doing there? The Nigeria Olympic Committee overseeing 37 to 38 sports. Some of them is even causing confusion in them. All these sports, 38 of them or 39, Olympic and non-Olympic sports that I talk about, there are so many people there who have no business
been there
to be in that very place. And I read a report where they have an annual general meeting of the Nigeria Olympic Committee where he gave all their activities for the year. At the end of the day, he didn't talk about, I have not seen the finances in the public.
No, they will not talk about that part.
And none of them,
Nobody.
all
They
of them
want
are
them to
collecting,
wash their linen outside?
they are collecting money from their African continental bodies. Their grants they are collecting. They are also collecting money from their continental, international affiliated bodies. But they will never tell you how much they are collecting.
Okay.
They all come and rendezvous around government, asking government to this simply because if they collect that one from government, nobody will ask them to account for it, and they don't account for it. So you ask me for solution.
In 1 minute,
Yes.
because we've done almost more than 30 minutes. In 1 minute, what is the way forward? Apart from tackling corruption, which other way can we bring back our sports?
We have to look at the laws. Even the law establishing the National Sports Commission as it is today is imperfect and is faulty. Secondly, we also have to look at the sports industry policy, the one that was formed, during Sunday Dare. That one also has its own
challenge,
imperfections. It has its own imperfections. Three, we have to set up a program, a transitional withdrawal of government from funding sports. In the next 3-5 years, government should only be giving grant, not to sponsor sports. Number four, let us pick 1, 2, or 3 cases and direct EFCC, the Nigerian police, and ICPC to investigate and send 2 or 3 people to jail, so that
finally,
to investigate. Then finally, we should always do a thorough background check
before
appointing people to manage sports. As it is now, there's a big problem. I hope the storm will not consume the industry.
Amen. Thank you. So the program continues in a moment.
Grab your seats and join us on the most fascinating 60-minute infotainment journey, showing on your favorite TV channel, Africa Independent Television, AIT. Analysis on topical national issues, news, sports, and entertainment are on the menu. It's a show you do not want to miss. It is The Sunday Show.
Quite interesting discussions, sincerely. It is a topic with a lot of issues seeking to be addressed. I hope, however, we have been able to touch some critical areas. We, on this Sunday show, remain committed to identifying those critical issues that define our corporate everyday existence, with the aim of addressing them and helping us make informed decisions. Let us take you now to the wall of vibes, views, not forgetting the Newsmaker segment. Stay tuned.
Hello, welcome to the Vibes and Views segment on the Sunday show. My name is Anu Awojabi. It's time to relax to some entertainment stories. Music executive and elder brother to the Okoye twins, Jude Okoye, has been denied bail by a federal high court, Ikoyi, Lagos. Jude is facing charges of money laundering to the tune of 1.38 billion naira, $1 million, and 34,537 pounds, an offense contrary to Section 18, subsection 2D, and punishable under Section 18, subsection 3 of the Money Laundering Prevention and Prohibition Act 2022. On Wednesday, February 26, 2025, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, had arraigned Okoye and his company, Northside Music Limited, before Justice Alexander Owueye on a 7-count charge. The music executive, however, pleaded not guilty to the charges. Defense counsel Inibehe Effiong had informed the court of a pending bail application and requested that the defendants be remanded in the EFCC custody pending the hearing. When the matter came up on Friday, prosecution counsel Larry Peters objected to the request, citing congestion in the EFCC custody, and urged the court to remand the defendants at the correctional facility in Ikoyi since he had taken his plea.
To make it look like he's a fraud, he's this, he's that. Let's call it spade a spade. Peter is the one putting you to this thing.
Meanwhile, Afrobeat singer Paul Okoye, who was in court to bail his elder brother, had alleged that his twin brother, Peter, Mr. P, was behind the arrest of Jude by the anti-graft agency. Justice Oweye has scheduled the trial of the embattled Jude Okoye for April 14, 2025. And lastly, it appears there's no end in sight to the rift between Nigerian media personality and actor Nedu and social media influencer and social critic Very Dark Man, as the on-air personality Nedu has served VDM a defamation lawsuit demanding a 500 million naira compensation from him.
This evening, where some people contacted me with a lot of evidence of how Nedu defraud them. Right, with a lot of evidence.
Trouble started when Very Dark Man, in a video on his Instagram dated February 19, 2025, allegedly linked Nedu to a 60 million naira non-governmental organization fraud. Not just that, the outspoken social media influencer, VDM, also shared a voice note allegedly of Nedu about some of his friends in diaspora.
I beg, no be only my ear go hear am. Oya mo na come here.
And also, I'm also thinking, this is between me and you though, this Abuja owned, if you ask me, I think we should just leave this Abuja owned, do Lagos, and then come straight and do London, then start thinking of other cities where we'll get Nigerians. I believe if we do in South Africa next, apart from London, it will give us a lot of money, because I have a lot of Yahoo boys and drug guys that are waiting for me to come to that South Africa, and even Turkey and even Morocco. They can die for me to come there. So,
hence, Very Dark Man visited the embassies of the said countries, urging them to look into the case of substance deals.
Lastly, we are the Moroccan embassy. You know, he made mention of 3 countries, South Africa, Turkey, and Morocco, that he has friends that do drugs and fraud.
And that's it. I am Anu Awojobi.
The question is, as a country, do we overrate ourselves in terms of sport? Let's look at it this way. As a country, we have over 200 million people in this country. In Africa, we have the largest population, but I cannot confidently come out and tell you that in terms of sport, there's a particular sport that we are dominating, that we are good at. Just take a look at the just concluded Paris 2024 Olympics. Nigeria as a country ended the Olympics winning a total number of 0 medals. We did not win gold, we did not win silver, we did not win bronze. This begs for the question, what sports are we good at? What sports are we dominating? Look at the highest winning country, USA and China in basketball. You know that USA are definitely going to win a medal, a gold medal in basketball. Look at China. Look at the sports they are dominating. Look at the events they are dominating. You don't even hear of them. But now in Nigeria, I cannot even boast of one particular sport that we are naturally good at. Check Africa. In South Africa now, they can say, okay, they are good at rugby. Some other athletic events, they are also good. Check Kenya, Ethiopia, Botswana. They are good at marathon, long distance racing. They dominate. But look at Nigeria, the giant of Africa with over 200 million population. We are not good at anyone. Ask yourself, let's ask ourselves now, what sports are we good at? What sports are we dominating? You might want to say football, but even the football, we are not good at football. Let's look at the Nigerian men's national team, the Super Eagles of Nigeria. We are currently struggling to qualify for the World Cup in a World Cup qualifier that has the likes of South Africa, Lesotho, Zimbabwe, Benin Republic, and other minions. We are struggling to qualify. AFCON, in our history in the AFCON, we have only 3 AFCONs. While some country in Africa has won over 7, 8, 9 AFCONs. Even in West Africa, let's channel it down to West Africa. In West Africa, the likes of Ghana, the likes of Cameroon, they have won more AFCONs than us. Let's take a look at club football in Africa. No Nigerian club has won the CAF Champions League since anybody won it in the early 2000s. None. We don't even get to the semi-final or final. Group stage preliminaries, we are out. Now let's check the women category where we used to be dominant. The Super Falcons of Nigeria cannot want to play the female national team of South Africa, and we will be bold enough to say we are going to thrash them. It used to be like that. We used to thrash them, but now even the minions in Africa The Super Falcons no longer win them comfortably. We struggle to win them nowadays. Now, let's talk about a sport like swimming. Why are we not dominating a sport like swimming when we have so many rivers in this country? Go to the south region of Nigeria, Bayelsa, Port Harcourt, Delta. They have rivers there. You hear people saying, "Pikin when they born for Bayelsa today, all they swim, now fish." But come to Olympics, swimming, we are nowhere to be found. Even in acrobatics, we are nowhere to be found. But if it's to be doing up and graceful challenge where the youth will be throwing different kind of stunts on their bed, we go carry first. But on the more serious note, as a country, giant of Africa, what sports are we naturally good at? What sports can we boast of that we can dominate? No one. Should we blame bad government for this, or we are just not as talented and gifted as we may want to think that we are, and we overrate ourselves too much in Africa?
What a show it has been. Thank you so much for being a part of it. We shall be calling it a day at this point on this episode. We urge you to join us again, same time, same station next week on your favorite channel, Africa Independent Television, AIT. Please remember to treat others the way you would want to be treated. Have a wonderful week. How do you treat me?
I treat you the way I want you to treat me. That's the reason why I try as much as possible to treat you good. And I know you like it.
I love it. You didn't just like it. Thank you for being who you are to me.
And thank you
and
too.
to you out there, ensure that you be that change you want to see. Do have a wonderful week. My name is Obi Ajuro.
My name is McQueen Joseph.
Bye-bye now.